want to show you how to make an incredibly easy and fun grind box in about 10 minutes.
Box in this video is just a bit longer than 8 feet in length. It's 12 inches off the ground and it's 16 inches wide. In my opinion, I think a box this size is like the perfect size. It's not too big so that you get intimidated to try any tricks on it, but it's not so small that you get bored of it really fast. I can probably skate one of these things for hours, so highly recommend it if you just need something quick and easy to build at home that's relatively cheap too. It's entirely built out of different size deck boards. Most of them are just uncut right from the hardware store, so you don't need to make a ton of cuts, and it's really easy to build if you've got basic tools and you don't have fancy tools like a miter saw or a jigsaw, and you don't have to work with plywood either. To build this box, you're going to need 2 8-foot 2x6s, 2 8-foot 2x8s, 2 8-foot 2x12s. If you're going to keep this box outside, I highly recommend you spend a couple extra dollars and you get the pressure treated wood. Regular wood will not last long, especially if it's exposed to the elements or rain. Otherwise, if you're going to keep it in a garage and you're just going to pull it out every time, or it's going to be mostly indoors, regular wood would be just fine for that. You're going to need a box of 2.5-inch wood screws. The small box is fine, that should be more than enough. Again, if it's going to be outside, definitely grab the exterior wood screws. Otherwise, the regular plain wood screws are just fine. For the coping, I used 1.5-inch PVC in this video. Some people like the 2-inch, so when you're in the store, just compare the two and see which one you think you might like the best. The bigger PVC is a little bit harder to lock on to sole tricks, I find, so I like the 1.5 inch for that one. Additionally, if you want to upgrade to a steel pipe, much longer lasting, PVC works great for rollerblades. You might need to replace it a couple times, but it slides good and it works great for rollerblades. But if you're going to be using it for skateboards or BMX bikes or anything like that, definitely look into the steel pipe, although it is much more expensive. Regardless, whether you go PVC or steel, they're both sold in 10-foot sections, so you'll need to cut it down a little bit for the box. Lastly, you'll need a power drill, a tape measure, a set of drill bits, and a saw, either hand or power. It doesn't matter. And make sure you wear safety gear. Don't be an idiot like me.
All right, so what we did, and I don't have it on camera because I didn't film it, but so this is going to be our center pieces. There's 9 of them, and they're 14.5 inches. So what we're going to do is we're going to use the 2x12s on the side, and then we're going to put these in the middle to kind of frame it out and give it supports, and then we're going to run our 2x8s on top, and that's going to create a notch that we can run our coping on and screw it into, and then we get it done really quick. We got the 2x12 laid out, so now we're going to mark our holes and pre-drill them for supports. Technically 1.5 inches wide, even though they say 2, so we're going to want to get it right in the middle. We want the screw to go in the middle here, so we're going to measure 3/4 of an inch in from the edge, and then we're going to make our mark, and then we're going to go down every foot or so down here until we have 8 supports going into the 2x12. So we'll pre-drill those holes, and then we'll shoot some screws in, and that will put together the actual box. I want to show you something real quick. So what we did here, I measured out where all the supports are going to go on one piece of the 2x12, and then I took the other one and I literally just butted it up against that, and then I transferred the measurements over. I also made marks 1 inch down and 4 inches down. That's where we're going to pre-drill our hole. So we're going to put 2 screws in each one, and that's going to essentially like frame that box out for us. So now we're going to actually start attaching the inner support pieces and frame the box out. I'm using 2.5-inch deck screws. I actually prefer like the stuff with the Torx head because they don't strip out as much, but I also just have a giant box sitting around left over from my ramp. So you can use whatever you want, but 2.5 or 3-inch screws. If it's going to be outside, I would go with an exterior grade, that way it doesn't rust and stuff doesn't break on you. Take our support piece, literally going to attach it like so. So yeah, so we're gonna start on the ends here. So we'll get this end going, we'll get that end going, we'll get like the rough shape of the box sorted out, and then we'll go in and do our inner pieces after that. So let's get to it. We got it all framed out now. You can see here, so we got these supports are going every 12 inches. We got 2 screws holding each one in. Pretty solid, it's super stable. Just basically one big solid chunk of wood. So next we're gonna grab our 2x8s. We're gonna lay them on top and then screw them down. And then we'll put our coping on, and then we'll skate. All framed out, finished. We got the top layer on. So just real quick, just want to talk a little bit. So this, they call this a coping reveal. So I like it to look pretty clean and flush. What we did is, since we had those, you know, the support middle pieces are flush with the top here. And this is 1.5 inches high. So this is 1.5 inches out, 1.5 inches high. And that gives us the perfect channel to drop our PVC in. So some people like it to be really high up off the deck. That'll make topside grinds a little bit easier, but I actually kind of like it a little bit more on the flush side to give you better practice. So yeah, so that's that. So now we'll throw the PVC on and we'll be done. So we're done. So real quick, it's on the time lapse, so you might not have seen what I was doing, but just to show you guys how to attach this coping. So you're gonna drill 2 holes. Should do it on the end so you can see it a little bit easier. So you're gonna use 2 different size drill bits, 1/4 inch, and then I believe this is a 1/2 inch drill bit. So you're gonna drill a small hole through both sides, and that's gonna be what you attach the screw in, and then you're gonna go around and then just make a larger hole to let you get the screw head through. And then you'll screw that down in the channel and you'll be good to go. There she is.